All right, well, yeah, welcome to our first meeting for the St. Mary's Academy Mentorship Program. You guys probably know by now since you're in our WeSTEM Mentorship Program, but I'm Allison, that's Meg.
Hi.
um, and yeah, we kind of run the Women in STEM Mentorship Program, and a teacher from St. Mary's has been in contact with Jeff Moore, actually from the cell biology department. And he's been trying to organize really on-campus activities for the high school students. But obviously that's not quite possible these days with the COVID restrictions and everything. So he reached out to us to see, he saw one of our flyers in the elevator and reached out to us and see if there might be an opportunity that we can, start something with them virtually. And potentially also, if as restrictions lessen and we are allowed to have students back on campus, if you do connect with like a student, you can bring them into the lab for a lab internship as well, I think is, would be a pretty cool thing to happen ultimately. So yeah, that's kind of the goal of this program, is to just really connect these high school students to scientists. And, we can kind of give them guidance into either different career paths they might take, different things they might think about when they go to college, and, what they can major in. We can kind of like figure out what we want to really mentor them on, and we are kind of shaping the program in that way. Did you want to say anything, Meg, about any of the specifics or anything else about the program?
I don't think I have anything else to add. Yeah, I just would say thank you for your flexibility, everybody, while we try to figure this out. I know initially it was going to be one-on-one, and then it kind of turned into after we spoke with human resources and the teacher, it just seemed like this would work better. So thank you for bearing with us.
And we just have a lot more mentees actually, even than we were expecting. So yeah, so we kind of have decided that the format will be in these kind of group meeting sessions. And my idea was kind of have like a 15-20 minute presentation, kind of introduction as a larger group, so that we all kind of have a theme and topic to discuss. And then so that the students get a chance to actually meet kind of, mentors, and to build that relationship, we can kind of split into those smaller breakout rooms, groups, so that students can kind of ask you more of in an intimate setting of your advice, basically. So we'll each kind of be mentoring, I would say, a group of students. And I think that, it could change each time. You could have a consistent student, but you could also have new students that are in your room or whatever. So, but I think the point is for them to get that chance to ask us questions in that kind of more intimate setting. But with a theme in mind, basically. So we'll be meeting Thursdays. Actually, I think the students' lunch time is not set in stone yet, because they're still actually figuring out what's going on with in-person versus virtual. So let me see.
Remus, it's okay. Oh.
So yeah, so there's a chance it could be 11:50 to 12:45, or there's a chance it could be 12 to 12:40. So we'll either have a little bit more or less time, but I think, 40 minutes should be good to at least get a chance to talk to the students and everything. So for the first meeting, I thought, yes. Yeah,
So
I can hear you.
is the plan now that it's going to be on Thursdays rather than Tuesdays, or?
Yeah, so once we did the survey and we reached back out to the teacher, she informed us that Tuesdays were like the only not good day for lunchtime activities, because I guess students have kind of their extracurriculars like on that day. So some of the students wouldn't be able to come if it was on Tuesday. And so, yeah, it got switched to Thursday. That was kind of like the next best option in our survey. So sorry if you do have conflicting activities, but even if you can only make it to like 1 or 2 sessions, that's still valuable to, have you as a participant. So yeah, it's not mandatory necessarily to come to all sessions, but definitely try to come to all sessions if you can and don't have a conflict.
Actually, so Thursdays are better for me personally, but I do
Right.
every other week I have something at that time on Thursdays. So maybe, I don't know, we'll see when
Yeah, we'll
this
see how it works out. So it's going to be, our first meeting is going to be on the 18th. So that's 2 weeks from today.
Okay, that's good. Every other week, like
Yeah.
is good for me.
So yeah, I think we're gonna try and do like the third or fourth Thursday of each month. So hopefully it'll line up for you. Yeah, so that's kind of what the date that we have set in stone for now, and I think we'll kind of go from there, but kind of plan on like the third Thursday of each month. So yeah, the first meeting, I was thinking we would just do kind of like a meet and greet, so we can each introduce ourselves. And I was thinking like we could each prepare like a slide or two, just kind of like on you and your research, so that we can each kind of take like 2 or 3 minutes to give a nice introduction of like, what we do, maybe even like why or how you got there, why you do it, why you decided to pursue science. And then, yeah, the students will go into breakout rooms, and then the students can have a chance to ask more questions from us. So yeah, if maybe by the February 15th, we can all prepare slides and just email them to me, and I can like put them all together. And then we'll have like a PowerPoint ready for the meeting. We'll send all this info out in another email as well. Okay, cool. So that's kind of like the format and structure of the program that we have in mind. The other idea that we had is to kind of have each mentor, have a theme that they present on. So like, maybe next month Meg will present on, I don't know, different careers in science, or, I don't know. We can
Applying to college.
Applying to college. Decide, what factors you might want to consider when applying to college, or picking a major or things like that. We do have like a preliminary list of topics that we can kind of work from. But I think, we can each kind of come up with like something it can even be like a biology topic, like related to your research, I think. How to develop a like research plan, or like, yeah, how to figure out how much RNA is in a cell. Like it can be, I think, science-based as well. The topics that we talk about with them.
Have they mentioned what they want from this mentorship? Like, are they looking for people to ask them about, like, or tell them about college and things like that?
That's a good question. That's probably, I think that's something that we can like ask them now, what after the program starts. So that's a good idea. Over the next 2 weeks, if maybe Meg and I can think about designing a survey of like, um, maybe it can even just be as simple as like a fill in the blank survey of like what's a topic that you want to talk about. And that way we can have some ideas from them. That's a really great idea. Good one. Thank you, Crystal. Um, okay.
I was going to ask Allison, when you met with Pamela, did she talk at all about, I remember you saying that so many of them were like excited about it and telling like the younger kids. Was that mostly just to like listen, or did Pamela shine any, like, did she like reveal anything that they want to hear about?
She did send me the survey results, so I never actually looked at those. But we at that point we were thinking of more of matching people up one-on-one. So
That's
it's
true,
more of like, what field do you want your mentor to be in? I don't think we actually asked them like, what topics do you want to hear about, or
Yeah.
do you want to talk to your mentor about? So yeah, I think at the first meeting we can send out that survey, since the first meeting will be more of a meet and greet. We can send that to the students and also send it to Pamela. Pamela Applegate is our principal connection at the school that we've been working with to organize the program. So we can send that survey to Pamela as well, in case some of the students couldn't make it, so she can distribute it onto the students. Cool. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And that way, like, it'll make it easier for us to figure out what topics, to kind of present on. So yeah, really you only have to do, like, I'm thinking, one presentation throughout the course of the time. And you might even not have to if you don't want to, or you might be able to like partner up with someone and do like, half and half. So it's February now, so we're going to have a meeting in February, March, April, and May. So it's really only kind of 4 meetings, I would say, right? Does that sound right? So
Unless they want to extend into the summer. I don't know if you talked about Pamela about that, or like crossover, because they're juniors, right?
yeah, I think it's sophomores and juniors that are in
Okay.
the program. So yeah, I mean, we have kind of had that option, and maybe the students have that option, and maybe like some of us will want to continue participating and some of them will want to continue on. So
Yeah. Okay.
I think we can kind of play by ear, but for preliminary planning, maybe we should kind of plan basically March, April's, and May's workshops. We'll call them workshops or mentoring sessions, something like that. But yeah, I think that first survey could be really informative for driving how we want to do those sessions. So thanks for that idea. All right, so now let's just go over some of the formalities. I reached out to risk management when we realized we were starting this program and asked them if there's any considerations. So of course there's considerations for working with minors, as well as now consideration for having virtual programs with minors. The good news is we're doing things as more of a large group. So there's not really like one-on-one concerns with like, anything that goes along with having one-on-one meetings. But yeah, there's still, things we want to think about when working with kids. So I sent the info of our program to Neil Krause on our campus. So it's on record. We got background checks on all of you guys. Sorry if I didn't inform you of that, but everyone passed, so it's all good.
Was that the weird email that I got? Because I like asked all of my other lab mates if they got a background check email, and they're like, I think that's a scam. I'm like, oh, I'm not
That
clicking
is
it then.
probably that
Okay.
exactly is probably the weird email you got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
only some people actually, some people were already checked in the system. And so most people were already approved. But yeah, some people we had to run like a sex offender check on you. So you passed, good to know. Everyone passed, so yeah, that's good. And so yeah, we, sent basically the information of our program. And so, there are you guys kind of have all this information to reference, but I wanted to kind of go over like the do's and don'ts. Just so we're all on the same page. Hopefully other people will watch this video and they'll all be on the same page. I know we're kind of like reading a document together, but this way you don't have to read it by yourself. So do maintain a high standard of personal behavior when interacting with minors. And treat minors consistently, fairly, and with consideration, respect, and dignity. Listen and interact with minors and provide positive reinforcement. Be friendly, but maintain appropriate physical boundaries. So we don't actually, have to worry about physical interactions with the minors because we'll be virtual. Discourage inappropriate behaviors by minors. Consult with adult supervisors if you're in a situation and you need help. If your Zoom room gets out of control, send us a message and we'll try to come and help you wrangle things in. Comply with mandatory reporting regulations and cooperate fully in any investigation of abuse of minors. Don't be alone with a minor so that we don't have to worry about where we'll be in a big Zoom room. We don't have to worry about facilities. We don't have to worry about sleeping in the same areas. Don't engage in communications with minors via email, texting, Facebook, Twitter, or similar forms of electronic or social media unless it is related to the program and another adult is included on the communication. Just a good policy. You can always include like me and Meg on any emails. If you do, exchange email addresses with one of the participants, that's totally, I would say, promoted. I think the more communication we can have with the students, the better. Like if they have additional questions after our sessions. So maybe I will even share our contact information and our emails with those students so that they can reach out to us if they, want to. But yeah, you probably may not need to like friend them on Facebook or Twitter. Although, science Twitter is a thing nowadays, but yeah.
Wait, so would you recommend just like if we do email with them, just to include someone else on the email? Is that the idea? Or
yeah, it's not, I don't think exchanging a one-on-one email with them is like necessarily a bad thing. But if you want to just be extra, careful or you can always include us on the email, but I think exchanging an email with them is it can be part of the program. And if you're building that kind of mentorship relationship with them, I think that's totally appropriate. Yeah, I actually previously mentored a high school student in the lab, and we obviously had we're working in the lab one-on-one. Other people were around, but yeah, we exchanged emails and it wasn't an issue. So if it's a completely professional email, it's obviously not a huge issue, I would say. So it's kind of like the nature of your communication and if you want to include us on it or not. I think that makes sense. So yeah, don't have contact with a minor outside of the program. Obviously, if you're wanting to bring them into the lab and it's like, next year, that's a different story. So that I would say that's also part of the program. So even though it's not necessarily a formal part. So yeah, don't provide transportation to them. Don't smoke anything around them or on camera in this case. Don't make sexual materials in any form available to minors or assist them in any way in gaining access to such material. I don't know what this is about, a prescription. Don't provide, we're not going to be providing any medication to the minors. Don't give gifts to the minors. That's a thing that, it's not a good policy to give gifts to the students. And it's also like, if you give gift to one student, the other students might be like, what the heck? So just don't give any gifts. So yeah, don't take photos or videos where privacy is expected. Also, don't, be on camera in that situation either. Don't engage in abusive conduct. Obviously, we won't be physically assaulting minors, but don't use language or provide inappropriate, profane, offensive, or abusive comments. And yeah, don't shame, belittle, or degrade minors or perpetrate any form of emotional abuse. I think all good policies that we are aware of not to do. But yeah, our activities are mainly going to be on Zoom in these groups. So I think that whole situation really mitigates any negative things from happening. So that's it for that document. Here we also have the University Risk Management Minor Guidelines document. A lot of these stuff don't necessarily apply because they're not actually going to be coming to campus. And actually, I'm not sure any of these necessarily apply, but we did have them fill out the waiver and consent form that I also sent to you just so you kind of know what they're kind of filling out and consenting to. Yes. So yeah, this document is more for on-campus things, so we don't really need to worry too much about that. The other document that we do want to be aware of is this virtual programs best practices document. So this is more specifically, based around what should be our kind of guidelines for having this virtual program. We're going to create these Zoom links and have passwords linked to them that we'll share with all of you guys. Probably Meg and I will be the co-hosts, but we may also make the other mentors hosts as well, I think. So yeah, that's kind of on us for setting the settings of the Zoom meetings. So you kind of are now aware of like your expectations and responsibilities with interacting with the students. It's just to be really a mentoring resource for them as someone who's in science and, how you got there and kind of sharing your background and knowledge with the students. So just, yeah, I think what I'll probably do is share a document with them that has kind of our emails so that they can reach out to us if they do have additional questions. yeah, we're, you know, following the rule of 3 and having 3 or more people in any one Zoom room at any one time. So, it's awesome that, you know, we get to have such an impact on so many students. Uh, so yeah, just be professional, friendly, encouraging, and helpful, and respect diversity. We definitely, you know, want to do that. That's like one of our goals as the Women in STEM group is at every event is to make everyone feel kind of welcome and included, and that we want to, you know, hear from diverse perspectives. So just, yeah, ensure kind of that safe space for everyone. We want to be thoughtful of the information that's being shared in the virtual session. You know, how is, how, how can we share our experiences that are related to kind of our professional pathway? Yeah, just be thoughtful about what you do share. Allow time for breaks, encourage participants to get up, walk around, stretch, use the restroom. You know, maybe we will have a bathroom break kind of in between the meeting and the breakout session or something, just to if people need a break. And then they can come back into the breakout rooms. It's a relatively short meeting, so you know, if it's 40 minutes, maybe we won't have a break. So parent involvement or participation, you know, I don't think, especially if the students are doing in-person learning, I don't think there'll be much parental involvement for like high school students at this stage. I'm sure they do a lot of the virtual and, you know, obviously in-person learning on their own. But yeah, all the parents should have signed the waiver that their child can participate in this program since they are minors. But yeah, so now you have kind of all of these documents, and you can refer back to them if needed. But I think it's pretty straightforward in terms of like conduct, how we should conduct ourselves when working with these minors. Just, you know, be appropriate. They are like 16, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. So obviously, you know, they're high school students, so they know some things, but yeah, just keep it appropriate on the meetings. And yeah, I think it'll be a really great program. And you guys have any questions for us?
So for the first meeting with us, like, you know, doing a slide and talking a little bit about ourselves, are we still going to do breakout sessions then? And if we are, what is that going to look like? You know, because it won't be sort of focused on one topic.
Right. So yeah, I think we will try to do it just so students have a chance to interact. And it can really be just even getting to know the students, and them getting to know you, depending on, you know, whose room they end up in. But, you know, you can also ask the students questions as well, like, oh, why did you join this program? Because, you know, I think, and it's nice that you kind of all have experiences as the mentee and how you started your mentorship relationship with your mentor. And so, you know, it's kind of like building that mentoring relationship, like, oh, like, what are you hoping to get out of this program? You know, you can definitely engage with the students in that way. And also just, you know, sharing your stories, sharing it, you know, answering any questions they have, but also you can like share, you know, oh, I did this experiment last week, or like, oh, you know, this was a hard hurdle to overcome to get where I am now. You can be like things like that, just kind of sharing personal vignettes or something like that, for like the first meet and greet type meeting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
I'm assuming there's probably too many students for them to try to introduce themselves to, probably. Like if we went down a line and had all
Yeah,
of them.
I think having them introduce themselves in the breakout rooms would probably be
Yeah.
doable. And so maybe we'll kind of do it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So that all the students can meet all of the mentors together, and then they'll get kind of a deeper connection with one of the mentors in that first meeting. And yeah, that makes sense. Oh. Actually, maybe one good idea might be to put your email on your slide. And that way, if students, and maybe also give your email to your group at the end of the meeting, just so that those students that you specifically connected with do have your email and can reach out to you with any questions.
Cool.
Any other questions? You guys all excited?
So excited. I would have like eaten this up in high school. I would have been so
Yeah,
excited.
for real. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's really cool. I'm jealous. I was gonna say something and now I forgot what it was about. Maybe come back to me. I
Okay.
have to think.
So yeah, I will send out an email either today or tomorrow, giving more details on like what you can put on your slide, and also sending a link to the recording of this presentation, just so everyone has it and can reference it.
I guess in terms of like talking about our research and stuff, we probably want to keep it pretty basic, right?
Yeah. You don't want to get, too complex, but it's always a good challenge to, try to make your research presentable to any audience, really.
That's very true.
So.
They're smart though. Like I remember being in AP biology and just like knowing all the ins and outs of like DNA and stuff, which I don't do anymore, but
Yeah.
so maybe that's why I think it's like fancy.
Yeah, right.
You can like start kind of basic. I think of presentations in general as like a hourglass shape. You start basic and big picture, and you can kind of go into like some details about what you specifically work on, but then like bring it back to like the big picture. But yeah, it'll, just kind of introduce them to what you work on. You don't have to go into too much detail, probably.
Oh, that was my question. Do I need to sign any of those documents that you sent over?
No, you guys
Okay.
don't need to sign any documents. It's the participants that are signing the waiver.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is it
You
their
just have to-
parents too?
you have to get a
Parents?
background check on you, so you're all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Meg?
I was just asking if a parent guardian has to sign that waiver for them as well.
Yes, I think so. I think because they are minors, that
Right.
guardian has to sign it. But I sent that to Pamela like a week or two ago, so she should be on it. All right. Well, I think that's it. But yeah, just keep getting excited about, getting these students excited about science and meeting women scientists. I think it's a really awesome opportunity for them. So, and for us to get to influence them and, yeah. So we're really excited. We hope you are too. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks at our first meeting. And we'll, be in touch with the details about that.
Have a good day, everyone.
Good.
Have a good one.
Thanks, y'all. See ya.